We're back here with head women's volleyball coach Korey Schroeder. Coach, strong weekend. Finished with earned a series sweep over LMU, and then battled a tough San Diego team. Talk about where the team's at, what you saw this weekend.
Yeah, I think we had some people step up. Not the result that we wanted against San Diego. We strongly feel like we're capable of beating that team, and we did last year. So tough to have that game go the way that it did, but we did have some people step up. I think Mary ended up tied for leading us in kills. That's the fifth different person that's led us in kills this season. I think that's a huge strength of ours, of our ability to have anybody go out and lead us in any given match. I think it takes a little bit of pressure off of each individual person. If I don't have to be perfect today, I can be good, above average, and somebody else is going to do the same. And together, we'll be able to put it together. And then against LMU, it was great. Had some ups and downs for sure. Had some opportunities where I feel like we just needed to finish it off, and we didn't quite have that urgency to do so. But ultimately get that win at Bowler and then go 2-0 against clearly a very capable LMU team after they won the conference last year. So felt really good about that, and now I get to look forward to San Diego and see how we can go 1-0 this week.
You touched on the depth of your team. What have you kind of seen? Kate Hayhurst had, I believe, 6 kills against LMU. Kind of talk about where maybe her progression throughout the season as a piece of that depth that you have on your team.
Yeah, I think everybody plays a little bit different role. You got to know who you are and what you bring. That's unique. I think what Kate brings is a high energy, and she helps the people around her believe that they're going to win. And so, she didn't play the first couple of weeks, and she had that first opportunity, and she was on it. Sprinting into the match, high energy, shoulders are up. Just had the sense of confidence. That not only for herself but her teammates is very impactful. So what Kate brings, I think, is very, very much more than what any box score is going to show. She's doing a great job lining up her block against the outside. So even if she's not getting stuff blocks, hopefully lowering their hitting percentage, playing great off blocker defense. Really simple, but teams love to send a free ball to the right side, and she puts that ball perfectly in system almost every single time. So all of those little things, I think, adds up to a lot of growth that she's made this year.
Keep touching on a little bit of the individuals. Lucy Blushkova obviously has been a big name. She coming off a offensive player of the week this week. It's easy to look at her on the box score and everything she does, but I mean, how much does she mean to this team and everything she does?
Yeah, I think in performance, obviously is a great leader there. But I think just the way that she approaches being a college volleyball player day to day, she shows up and does all the little things, and is a great, our one of our levels of leadership is modeling standards and behaviors, and she shows up and she does the work every day. First person into the gym, make sure she does her shoulder warm up, does dynamic warm up to its fullest, and all of those little things add up to what you see on game day. We have little spikers, camp for little kids, and she is in there high energy, interacting with the kids, and one of the people that you notice while we're running that session, and all of those little things start to add up, and so it's no surprise doing what she's doing. So I think as much of an impact as she's making on the court and the numbers that she's putting up, which are phenomenal, her day to day is a great example for a lot of players as well.
And I want to talk about one more, Tenon's, maybe a less flashy position at libero, but talk about everything that she does right and just what she brings to this team, especially on the passing game.
Yeah, you and I have talked about this. The box score, I think, is just it's a great basic level of reflection of what the match was. But for those that don't know, like, we keep track of passer rating, how well you're passing, not just reception errors. It's so much further than that. And she is the best in the conference as far as passer rating go, and her good pass percentage. Like, I mean, she was incredible against LMU, passed 24 times, and almost every single one of those balls was exactly where it needed to be. And we're asking her to take more of the court in serve receive. So what she's doing is pretty phenomenal. And then on top of that, we've asked her to expand her defensive range, and had a great weekend defensively as well. That's, an area for her to continue to focus on, and something that she's put a lot of work in. And we've seen a lot of growth in that. So really proud of what she's doing, and continues to level up every week.
Looking forward to this week. I mean, certainly a bye on Thursday helps. How does that, especially, midway through the conference schedule, how does that help you guys maybe recover and just kind of get off your feet a little bit?
Yeah, it allowed us to get an extra day off. Took Sunday, Monday. I always felt like, volleyball should get a bye week like football does and give us a little time to recover. Unfortunately, the schedule doesn't play out quite like that. So yeah, we were able to get a little bit more rest and still feel like we're able to get some very intentional practices in preparing for San Diego. And my understanding is I think San Diego has a bye this week as well. So they're getting to do the same thing and prepare for us. But I think for the long term, the last 6 weeks, it is helpful to be able to take a little time at the beginning of the week here, be able to focus on some other things and be in the best place possible for practices this week.
Yeah. You mentioned into the final 6 weeks of the season, starting the stretch of the final 10 games of the season on Saturday at San Diego. Just looking ahead, obviously you saw them here recently, just last weekend. What's maybe the plan of attack this week, especially having seen them so recently?
Yeah, time flies that we're down to 10 matches left here. It does feel like we just started this. Yeah, they've got some really good attackers that we've got to slow down better. We let them have their way with us a little bit too much. Some of that is serving pressure and try to get them out of system. Our servers were okay in our first matchup against them, but credit to them, they passed really, really well against us, and we're in system just too much. So we got to find a way to knock them out there, and then be able to slow down their weapons. And then we've had a really good first ball offense all season, and that wasn't there to the level that we needed it to against San Diego, and we passed pretty well. We just weren't in sync offensively quite like we wanted to. So a few different areas that we talked about as a team this morning of, hey, we're gonna have to level up in these things, but certainly we know that we're capable of doing all of those things. So we got to try to put that into practice in the next few days, and then bring it on Saturday.
Thanks, Coach. Enjoy the Thursday bye, and good luck this weekend at San Diego.
Thanks. Go Cougs.